in just because that's how it usually works on these conversations. But we'll start with some introductions, and what I would like to know is who you are, where you are, and what brings you onto this call. But before we start, I want to see if anyone objects to being recorded. And hearing none, Chris, would you mind starting the, oh, you started the recording. So we are recording, and we do generally want to share these conversations with the world. So I'll just give a very quick overview of what's happening here. We're doing a weekly online summit for people to learn about mutual aid networks, and we're recording them and posting them on our website just because there are a lot of moving parts to this, and we want people to get a chance to really understand each piece as well as possible. And many of these will be discussions. And I should just make clear, Mutual Aid Networks is a highly collaborative project. What we're really working to do is create a framework for everyone who really wants to create a different kind of economy to participate in building it. So when I talk about what we are doing, I'm talking about everyone here, everyone who's choosing to participate. So as we have this conversation, today's conversation is going to focus on our approach to technological tools that support our work. And it is very much a discussion. So we're going to start with what our framework has been and what we're using and talking about, and then just move into sort of more detailed conversation with all of you participating as interested in doing. So I'm going to start with my introduction, and then I'll have Matthew introduce himself, and then we'll go down the list. I'm Stephanie Rierick. I'm based in Madison, Wisconsin, and I'm founder and co-director of the Dane County Time Bank, and then out of that has grown this project, which has turned into Mutual Aid Networks. And essentially we were just looking at how we could change, how we could play with organizational structure, and then also use the tools that we're talking about, like time banking and other cooperative economic tools, to really create a more integrated, coherent system that can really support us and our work. So essentially, just create a more self-sustaining, self-perpetuating system that is a cooperative economic system. And right now, I'm in the Lake District in the UK for this Leading Wellbeing Conference, which is going to be a really good learning opportunity, and we'll be presenting about mutual aid networks. And here with me is Matthew Slater, who I've asked to be kind of a special guest today. So, want to introduce yourself?
Oh, more than a special guest. I think I'm supposed to be attending these meetings regularly. I'm doing my best, but I always seem to be in a different time zone or a different planet. I'm Matthew Slater, otherwise known as Matt Slat Web, and I write software for LETs and time banking organizations, including the Dane County Time Bank. And for the Mutual Aid Network, I've agreed to oversee and try to ensure that sensible software decisions are taken.
Thank you. Chris?
Hi, my name's Chris Petit. I live in Oak Park outside of Chicago. I'm also helping with Mutual Aid Networks as a project co-coordinator.
Thanks. Barry?
Hi, I'm Barry Corin in Chicago. Have a simple approach to solving the big problems of our time, an important part of which is using time banking.
Great, thank you. Bruce.
Bruce Moffett, I'm based in Madison, Wisconsin, and I'm working both with the Dane County Time Bank and the MAN on resource development and communications.
Thank you. Chinuri.
Hello, my name is Chinuri. I am in St. Louis. I'm the founder of the Collie Collective Time Bank and focused on engaging communities of color with time banking and other solidarity economy practices.
Great, thank you. Hassan?
Yes, this is Hassan Batts with Lehigh Valley, Allentown, Pennsylvania. We're looking at being one of the pilot sites. I'm here with Janelle Delco. I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi, this is Janelle Delco, working with Hassan Batts on developing time banking through Mutual Aid Network. I'm currently the Community Exchange Liaison.
Great, thank you. John Quinlan.
Hi, this is John Quinlan, based in Madison, Wisconsin, and I'm assisting with communications-related work.
Great, thanks. John Waters.
Hello, I'm based in the UK. I'm chair of Community Development Finance Institution. We specialize in community-owned renewable energy installations, but I've had a long-standing interest in the development of universal software for economic localization, but particularly the ability to measure and feedback performance.
Great. Yes, very happy you're joining us for this call in particular. Thank you. Laura.
Hello?
Hello. You're on.
Hi, Laura. This is Laura Garrett. I'm in Madison, Wisconsin. I just joined the Time Bank.
Great. Thank you for joining. Scott Murto.
Great, yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry, I'm just having trouble hearing properly.
So did you have any more that you wanted to say about your interest area?
Oh, yes. Yeah, so I've been a small business owner for many years, and I'm just really, really interested in doing whatever I can to help this project along to create a better economy.
Wonderful. Thanks for joining. And I just very quickly, I want to make sure that I keep in touch with you about when we're getting together to develop the mutual aid network around the Social Justice Center. You might be interested in coming to those gatherings.
Oh, for sure, yes.
Great. Yeah, just if you can just get in touch with me later to be sure I put you on the invitation list, that would be great. Thanks.
Okay.
Scott Murto.
I'm Scott Murto from the Lansing, Michigan area. We are hoping to be a manned pilot site here to bring together our Mid-Michigan Time Bank and the Lansing Makers Network and a number of cooperative business ventures that are getting off the ground here. And I am personally, like John Waters, also very interested in measurement protocols and alternative measures of performance.
Great.
I'd like to do anything that I can do halfway decent.
Thank you. And if you and John Waters could help us be sure that we get into talking about evaluation tools and the technological tools that we could use there. I want to be sure that I don't have anything up to show that's related to that, but that's a really key piece of what we want to do. So if you guys could help be sure that we touch on that in this hour, that would be wonderful.
Cool.
Thank you for joining us. Hello, would you like to introduce?
Oh, yes, Sybille. I'm from France. I'm now in the south of France in my eco-village, and it's very sunny and very. We are working on cooperating to build a very mini mutual aid network. So I'm here because I've create Weezer platform that maybe some of you know. That is a cooperation platform to because really my passion is to create favorable conditions to let the cooperation emerge, and it's with human dynamics and computer web and computing dynamics. And so I don't know if it's now, but I wish to give you some news about Wezer. So I don't know if it's now or later. And I'm very willing to help man to become a success story as using Wezer. And for now, I'm not very satisfied with what is happening. But I know we have to be patient. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you. And in just a moment, we'll have you give the news about Weezer and maybe just a little overview of it if you want to. So I'll just give a super brief view of what we have and what we see ourselves working with. And again, I just want to, first I'm going to thank everyone
Muted.
Okay. So I just wanted to get rid of the echo. So now if you want to talk, just type into the chat and I will unmute you. But I'll just say a couple words and then I'm going to let Sybille take the floor. So what we have right now, what we have chosen to do is have a regular WordPress site for public viewing to bring people into mutual aid networks when they're curious about mutual aid networks and to learn about it. And we intend to flesh this out and have it point to different resources wherever they end up living. And this is part of what we need a good team of software and communications people to work on. I'm not the person to figure out the best way to repose the various sort of grant proposals or evaluation measures or different kinds of resources that people will need to do well in mutual aid networks, but there are plenty of people who are very good at figuring that out. And so we're looking to engage people to answer these questions and do this work. But we have chosen to have an outward-facing WordPress site because it's simple to maintain and pretty easy for us to use. And then what we've chosen to do is manage our projects. So that would be any mutual aid network pilot project or any mutual aid network project that wishes to use Weezer, Sybille's software that she's going to talk about, to manage the projects. So eventually what we plan to have happen is from this outward-facing public website, you could go find a lot of different, you could find the different types of projects. So for example, adaptive reuse projects would point to this page that describes what an adaptive reuse project is. And then this page would show in some way, and again, we want a tech team to figure out the ideal way. We've had a couple recommendations. But from this page, you would be able to see all of the adaptive reuse projects that are in Weezer, in mutual aid networks. So you could come in as a member of the public and not log in, and you can see a variety, you can see the basic information about different projects. And you could go into the different projects and give them money or whatever they choose to have interact with the public at large without a login. Then if you wanted to participate in a project, this is the mutual aid network platform that's in Weezer that I'm going to have Sybille show us around or talk about in a moment. But if you wanted to participate in a project, then you would need to join Main Man, and that gives you access to creating an account in Weezer, and there you can put up your project, and or you can join a project, so you can contribute to someone else's project, offer to contribute time or other kinds of resources, offer to take on tasks. But this is something that would be more managed and not a completely open software. I mean, in terms of who can access it, like you would need to log in for certain things. And let's see. Then we also have ideas. I'm just going to touch on this, and we'll just come back into this conversation later after we dive in a little bit more into the different pieces. But eventually we want to be able to tackle questions like my time bank here, Dane County, or in Madison, Wisconsin, our time bank, Dane County Time Bank. We expect people to keep using this time bank as it is. We expect our members to choose what software they're going to use. We don't expect the members of Dane County Time Bank to all switch to using Weezer as we're developing it for Mutual Aid Network. However, Dane County Time Bank will hopefully be a member, and then people who wanted to, an example of one thing that I would like to do in the Main Man is create a travel and culture exchange, or make it so we can earn some hours and maybe spend them with other parties in the Main Man. In that case, then we would look at how we create ways to link this time banking software in with the Weezer software that we're using in the main mutual aid network. Besides this project management piece, there's a marketplace. This Weezer software is really powerful already, and we can exchange hours we can exchange dollars, we can exchange other forms of mutual credit. So one of our goals is to really make this into a very broad resource base that we can use globally, and then maybe exchange between different local initiatives as those initiatives choose that they want to do that, or as our participants choose. So now, first, Matthew, do you have anything that you want to throw in quickly that's like a clarification or anything like that before I turn it over to Sybille?
Yeah, I think I could just say something about the overall approach to the software architecture for an organization like the Mutual Aid Network, which is attempting to bring together lots of organizations and to coordinate them. So there are two possible approaches that might be considered, and one is to have a monolithic platform that does everything for everybody, and the other approach is to have lots of little platforms which do different things for different people. And the disadvantage of that one is that you've got different logins for everything, and the platforms can't talk to each other. And the disadvantage of the first one is that you're really stuck with one platform and one set of developers, and you need to be raising money for it all the time to be constantly accommodating ever-changing needs. And so with Mutual Aid Network, it wants the benefits of both, and it can't afford the costs of either. So what was decided many months ago was to go with Weezer as a way to try and bring all the functionality into one thing, but that wasn't a full commitment. And at the same time, Weezer hasn't been able to keep the money and the development going to meet all of these needs. So there was a not full commitment on both sides. And now I see, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that we're moving away from Weezer a bit now. No, we're embracing the diversity of platforms and members, and we're saying that yes, things might not be integrated between all the different organizations, but we're going to have a more distributed, decentralized approach to managing multiple software platforms. Is that right?
Well, I will say I think that you have misunderstood a little bit, because we are totally planning to use Weezer for the main man. But the main man is its own exchange and cooperative. And we have never intended to tell anybody who's a member or participant what to use. And it's a lot of overhead for an initiative to change softwares, and especially changing to something that's being really developed right now. So we are committed to using Weezer in the main man, and we're also committed to creating a situation where that can function alongside other things.
Okay, so if that approach is going to be scalable, then it's a question of defining exactly what Weezer does and what Weezer doesn't do.
Yes.
So that incoming people will quickly get a sense of which platform they need to be working in for different tasks.
Yes, that would be quite helpful. And this is exactly why we're having this conversation, is these are the kinds of details we need to get into so we can move forward properly. One other aspect of it is when a time bank, for example, or a mutual aid network pilot joins Weezer and starts using it for the broader, like for the more meta exchanges. For example, I see Weezer right now in the main man. I see the most likely kinds of exchanges being, for example, our man pilot will want to get some expertise from someone who's joined the main man. So perhaps, Bernard Leotard joins the main man, and we can give him we can exchange hours and or dollars and or other kinds of resources for the expertise he has. And a different man pilot site might want some proposal writing help from another man pilot site. So I expect that we'll do those kinds of exchanges to start. And if we have organizations and or their members using it in this way, when they see the power that this has, and as it develops into something that can really support their projects well, I do expect more projects to choose to flow and to move into this. But I think it's the kind of thing that it's kind of like the whole mutual aid network in general. We have to really try this stuff out, and it's kind of like this soft launch that we've done. We really need the people who really care and are really friendly and really want this to succeed, to do this trial and error phase where we're really all really helping shape the whole direction of things. And then later is when I expect that like a whole initiative, a whole time bank will come into this. But we need to be sure that we have a really solid framework to invite people into, and we're just developing that right now. So is it a good time to turn it over to Sybille?
Very good.
Okay, so Sybille, would you like me to have it to make you the presenter so you can show your screen?
I'm not sure if that is necessary. You want me to present with her?
I don't
I don't know if
ahead
it's necessary.
and any things that you want to show about what Weezer does, or what you're looking to develop really in the near future. You can just tell me what you want me to show as you're speaking, and for now, I'll let you talk.
Okay, I haven't think about show you anything. First of all, I want to say that I really resonate with all what you've just said. And I think the solution is to include both polarity, having something integrated, and let other software and even improve the conversation with the other software. Because more I understand community starting with Wezer, and I will come to the update soon, more I see that it's really about using it, and you cannot push other people to use it. You can only inspire them because you are using it. So I think more the main man can use it, the more then the people will come, and then Wezer will be also more appropriate and easy to use, because it will be improved on the way. This is the point. About Wezer, so we have 3 new communities, so I think now we are like 8 or 9 communities, and all of them are really starting slow. So the good point that one was working with Matthew software, and we were able to migrate and take all the offer on once. And the transaction, that was a bit nightmare, but it has worked, and now it's they are starting to use it.
So were you saying someone just shifted from Community Forge to Weezer?
Exactly, from Community Forge to Weezer.
Wonderful.
This is the biggest Let's in France, that is run by Julien.
Exciting.
And they have migrated. So this will be your first success story, and it's only the marketplace part, because most of the other community, actually all the other community, take action, that means the project management plus exchange, and even some only action, only the project management. So just to tell you, I've made an observation that for now you are the only one to have paid for the setup, and all the other doesn't want and don't devote much time. And because we are not paid, and we cannot devote much time, so it's make it slower. So it's really showing me that what I was thinking, that the community need to be supported, and that we must devote some time to do. It's very important, because we'll talk about the technological software, but I think in our type of network and people we are, there is a real challenge to make people come on the software and find the real benefits, because at the beginning it's taking more effort and benefits. So I'm happy for the number of communities, not so happy about the resources we have, neither in Euro, neither in coders, because Julien and Florent had to go back to earn money. So now they are teacher and professor, mathematical professor. So that's a real pity. But now we are July and August, so they are here. And we are just fixing now. We have been able to hire someone, because the problems that Yannick, who has done the very technical things is not available, and we still not have enough skills to make some. Florent and Julien, especially Florent, has really improved, but there is still some things we don't know how to do it, or it will take so much time. So we found someone, and there is like 20 little bugs improvements that will be solved at the end of the month. So I think it will really help everyone, because as it is, Weezer is workable. But I agree with you that there is some things that can be really easily improved to make it more comfortable, and that's it should be done, because it's sometimes an excuse because something is not exactly working as you want, so you will not use it. So it's good to help the user interface, but also user has to make a real effort, I know. And so, as I was sharing at the beginning, we have realized in Valeureux, because we were thinking why no one community is really starting, and we were a bit complaining, and realized that ourselves we are not really using the Weezer. So we are also dedicating time to fulfill Valeureux platforms, that now we have some projects with some partner that occurs in Weezer, in the Valeureux platform, and we are preparing the Weezer platform to especially for the summer camp. So that's another news from the 2nd to the 12th of August in south of France. We make a sprint code to build the next step of Weezer. So what's the news? This, yes, not really enough money. So the other big step we are making now, and it will be hopefully manifest during the sprint code. The code sprint is a new part of Weezer that we call emergence, and I'm now making the mock-up and designing the stuff. That is all what you need, and we all need. It's about having a working space, and all what you need about ideas, discussion, decision, project, task, offer, wants, like having your own dashboard, and adding all the what is now not existing is about deliberation and participative innovation. How can some ideas can become projects thanks to the support of the community, and how best if we have to write a text together, how can we write together, and having different type of decision-making process. So this is very exciting, and I will not show you the mock-up because it's not yet. I'm really working on it, and it's very satisfying. So my wish is, yes, to have some success stories in communities, and Julien will be with Man 2 weeks in end of August, just after the 2 weeks of sprint, code sprint. So I really hope that we'll make a push. And I'm doing my best to find some money to hire some, but not so easy. What else?
This is wonderful. It's exciting. Yes. Sprint. Go ahead.
Just it's about the scope of Weezer. I created really for collective citizen movement, very radical organization. And finally, who wants it? It's a solidarity association, social association. And I'm now in touch with some very powerful network of women, African women, who do a lot of things very concrete and social. And we will make for them, if we have to find money, help them to find money, but to make some Weezer to help them make the really social work. So this is a bit surprising for me, and also very nourishing, because that's very serving concrete action. Thank you.
Wonderful. So just I want to share with people a little bit more about Julien coming to Madison in August, and then I'm going to open this up for people to speak in a moment. But anyhow, so yeah, Julien, one of the Weezer programmers, will be spending 2 weeks with us during the Man Up Summit. And part of the reason we scheduled this summit during this time in Madison, and you are all more than welcome to come, I hope you can come, but part of the reason we scheduled the summit right during this time is there's an event in Madison called Forward Technology Festival, and it attracts a lot of techies who want to do more interesting things with their time. So we actually will be presenting at this, and then there's a day-long kind of code sprint. It's called Bar Camp Unplugged, and we'll be trying to engage some people locally. And what I'm really hoping to do, and what I intend to work with Sybille and the rest of the Weezer team on leading up to that, is figure out a way that we can develop a team of people in Madison who have the capacity to work on this and develop some workflow between our locations. And figure out things that I'm not qualified to figure out, like if we should put this on a different server, and how we manage this project and share our developments back and forth and work in concert with each other. So that will be a really good thing, I think, to have him here, and I'll want to work through that some. Do you have any response to that, Sybille, or any? You are welcome to correct any things that I misstate too.
I totally agree. And Julien is a SAP, ex-SAP engineer, so he's really understanding both user and computer. He's now learning Python and know quite well Odoo, so, and know a lot.
Unmuted.
And he's very interested about mutual aid network in France too. So I'm very happy that he will be with you.
So I was thinking what I would like to do is unmute people, and or I might do it one by one if we have echo, but I want to give everyone a chance. If you have a question or a comment that really pertains to this, if you have some kind of knowledge or expertise in this and you want to share a perspective, or if you have a particular question, and if you don't, if you would just pass, just so we can get through, you know, there might be some trickier issues that we need to get into a little bit. And I'm planning to end this call at, it would be 11 o'clock Central, so I'm planning to end the call about just after an hour, so 24 minutes from now. So what I'm hoping that we can do is have a little bit of discussion, identify things that need to be questions that we need to delve into more deeply, and maybe some next steps. I think that there's some clear things that we need to figure out in terms of what are the resources that you need for Weezer development, what are the other things that need our attention, such as, for example, how do we put in evaluation tools that work well for people, and some of these things, and then figure out how we move forward on them. So I'm going to unmute everyone. Was that you, Sybille?
That was me. I just wanted to. This is
unmuted.
I think there's an.
Muted.
Hang on. I'll unmute you again.
Unmuted.
Okay, so we'll just unmute you one at a time. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure to differentiate between this online web summit and the Man Up Month summit, which will both be in person and live. You know, we'll have these sessions for learning, and then we're also bringing in people to do workshops, code sprints, etc. at the end of August. So there'll be more information about that on the website.
Thank you. All right. Barry, any questions or comments pertaining to the software ecosystem?
This is Barry. I've seen 2 screens from Weezer. Are there additional screens?
Yes, there are a lot of screens, but I don't feel well enough sort of familiar to show you around them very well. So I would need to, there's a whole marketplace of offers and wants, and I could show you my account where I post a marketplace. There are tasks that you put up on projects, and people can take on tasks.
Stephanie, I could also show it if that's helpful.
Sure. How about if we go through? How about if we go through the rest of the list of the rest of the participants' questions and comments, and then we come back to that?
Sounds good.
Okay. And then also, I did put. I did find a shareable way. I did find. I put on a website a recording of one of these meetings where we had a tour of Weezer, so I finally have a way to share that soon too, so people will be able to access that. Bruce, anything?
Was that for me?
Any questions or comments, Charmaine?
Only that it would be interesting to know if Weezer as a platform contemplates any anything related to fundraising or communications, or if that's a separate function.
Sybille, if you want to just keep track of these questions, and we'll just come back to you at the end, because I have a feeling a number will be for you. Okay, so I don't know how.
One other question. This is Barry.
Okay.
Is Weezer compatible with Drupal software?
Okay. So again, we'll come back to that. John Quinlan, I'm actually not sure how to unmute the phone people without unmuting everyone. So I'm going to do it, and I'm going to ask you if you can identify that you're a source of the echo. Mute yourself.
Muted.
I'm not sure if that.
Unmuted.
Muted.
Okay, John.
Looks like we got an echo.
Yeah, I know. I have a way to. I have a way to pull on the phone.
Muted.
So any questions for this or comment? And I'll mute you. John,
I can hear. Yeah, I think I'm going.
I know you are. Pass. You can type it in that.
Okay, let me just try.
Unmuted.
If Weezer, that would be useful here.
Just go ahead and type
Muted.
into the chats. Same with John Waters and Laura Garrett and Scott Murto. If you can go ahead and type your questions into the chat or comments, that would be great. If someone, I just don't have a way to unmute the phone people one by one. So, Sybille, I have unmuted you if you want to address some of the questions that came up. So one was about if you plan to Go ahead, sorry.
Okay, the second about is Weezer compatible with Drupal? It's written in Python, so it's not compatible, but there are some API. We have started to work on the WordPress API, but as I remember, it was not finished because Faircop changed his mind. So, but there is many API existing for Odoo and Python. The first one was about funding and financing functionalities. For now, the marketplace can be used as a crowdsourcing or crowdfunding platform for make a call. And there you have the accounting and the budget. So I don't know what you mean more than this. So maybe more, and there is some existing business intelligence also, and some that can be improved.
I'll let Bruce clarify, but I do believe that he's talking about fundraising for Weezer, communications and fundraising on behalf of Weezer. Is that true, Bruce?
I was thinking about the function broadly, about any collaborative opportunities, as we talk about fundraising together for both the main man, and for man pilot sites, there might be a need for coordination. So I was just wondering if that's a feature, or of Weezer, or if it would need to be some sort of different platform.
So to let you know, we use a Wezer platform that is called Wezer.org, that where we organize, synchronize all the action to build and support Wezer. We have been talking with Stephanie to make a big crowdfunding campaign about maybe commons, IT in commons, and Faircop is also agreed to join us. So I think that should happen for September, something like this. And I don't exactly understand what type of functionality you mean again, because you can create a project in Wezer that is to find the money, and then you will make all your tasks and use the marketplace to call for help in money or in resources. That is an advantage comparing to a normal crowdfunding platform. And yes, we need help, and we should cooperate on this to find some resources, and that can pass by money or direct coders resources. It's because suddenly I realized that it's a very long time that I haven't speak to you, because there is some very good, better news, and I've been in Belgium at the Odoo Days, and so I've met a lot of very professional business professional serving their clients with Odoo. So I was amazed with the type of application they were doing. So this satisfied me for the power, the potential of the software. And the good thing that there is a community around Odoo, that the name is OCA for Odoo Community Association, that we have they apply in our European calls as a pilot community. And even without the reply of European funds, we start working together, because Valeureux will be the one who help to animate the OCA, and OCA will help to make the community tools. And maybe one day Wezer will name Wezer, but Odoo community tools, and this is not really a problem. So that I'm very happy, and because we are not able really to find some money for now. I don't know what happens, but maybe it's too radical. So I'm focusing on finding directly coders. I finished.
Wonderful. So good. I'm gonna take one of these questions. Because I think that I may be able to answer it quickly. Chinyere asked, how will various units of measure be exchanged across units? So I'm thinking you mean time or dollars or other mutual credits, and we are thinking they just aren't. You exchange time for time, you exchange dollars. Each exchange that's made is one of the things that's nice about Weezer is when you start the transaction, there's a little bit back and forth that it helps facilitate. But you would ask for X units of hours or dollars, and you would choose to what you're exchanging there. And Weezer does plan to connect with PayPal, so if you're exchanging dollars, you can really just do it all right then. But we're also talking about dollar denominated or regional currency denominated mutual credit, and also maybe some even more fluid kinds of tools, so people can really really exchange freely about how you value different items. For example, I would really like to have a situation where you could exchange things like frequent flyer miles or things on here. So my personal vision has always been to have it be really fluid and really create a situation where we invite people to experiment and sort of, if we're going to pave anything, pave the cow paths later, really create opportunities for people to use things how they wish to use them within the core principles of mutual aid networks. And then there are a couple other questions here in the chat, and other people are welcome to offer to jump in. This one I don't know if I understand completely. It's from John Quinlan. Are there best practices of other organizations that are both macro and micro, so coalitional and locally based, that could provide us with best practices to apply to man's efforts on Weezer? So I'm thinking maybe you mean how you connect a local project with an umbrella organization, maybe. I don't know. You might be talking about the tech developments. And once again, I just don't have a way to unmute only you. So you might need to type in your clarification, John. Does anybody have an answer to how you understand that question? So are there models that we're looking to of how you integrate sort of a coalition with individual projects, is how I understand the question. So let me know if that's a correct understanding. And does someone have a good, if anyone's used Weezer for similar purposes that we might learn from. So Sybille, I'll let you take that question first. Has anyone used Weezer to connect a local project with other projects?
So Weezer is just new from last January, the Weezer itself. So we can say yes and no because we are using it. I did my accounting for the COVID Age Lending Trust using Weezer, so it's working.
Great.
But this is very, we can say, new. And there is many different apps of Odoo used everywhere in the world, from very, for instance, all the bicycle, sharing bicycle in Montreal are managed, where you take your bicycle and there is this little screen. This is Odoo behind. The dynamic about joining project management and marketplace and all this functionality I propose we put in Weezer, it's coming from my experience, 20 years of software engineer making software for organization to boost their productivity, and 10 years of dynamics. Look, in a way, no, because it's a prototype and we are all part of a big adventure because for me that's where I'm very honored to work with MAN. It's because we are building the tools of tomorrow, and when I was in Greece, I know they all need something like this that must be more modular, more replicable, more easy to use in a 5 minutes taking. So no, there is not exactly user case like this. And yes, it's coming from many experience, and we hope it will work.
Wonderful. And then I'm wondering if there's anything like, I don't know, something like transition towns or anything like that anyone on this meeting knows of, where it is a group of projects that are working to get together to really learn from each other and share with each other. If anyone has a sense of other projects or eco-villages, for example, isn't there an eco-village network? Is there anything anyone on this call knows of that we can look to for lessons, positive and negative, of how it has worked?
I wouldn't look to the Global Eco-Village Network for lessons.
Even of what not to do?
No, because their story is so complicated. It's very hard to know what to draw out.
Okay, great. Does anyone have any other ideas of other sorts of projects or networks of projects to look to? And again, I'll have to ask you to type in the chat if you want to talk. Okay, and Sybille knows some, so she'll be looking at that. So I would like to try to, let's see if we've answered the questions. Okay, I see some more questions in the chat, and we will definitely be needing to just practice and play with this. And we're kind of doing this slowly. When we launched in the beginning of June, we said it's sort of a soft launch for geeks and just for people to come in and just play with the stuff and work through work through it and practice. And then in August, we expect to take a lot of steps forward, and partly because we will have more time to really focus on this. All of us are doing this on top of creating and maintaining our own projects in all various ways. So it's, in some ways, it just takes a little bit of time to get to it. But then August, I think, will be a really good opportunity to really focus in, and it'll be very helpful to have Julien here. It'll be very helpful to have had you just do your code sprints. The dates for that Man Up Summit are August 20th to the 28th. And we're really hoping you can come. We'll have James Priest here doing sociocracy training. Julien will be helping us develop a community of developers and contributors around Weezer, and helping really identify how to better meet the needs of MAN participants. We're planning to bring Stephen Hinton, who's on the board of the JAK Bank in Sweden, and he can help us set up our first cooperative saving and investment pools, and more. And I do want to let you know that we have a crowdfunding site up for that now. You can find it from our website, mutualaidnetwork.org. And this is it, the Indiegogo site, and I'm going to put this in here, and that'll have more information. We're going to be putting out more information on our website so you can find this more easily. But in the meantime, we are developing a rough agenda for the Man Up Summit, and soon we'll have something that you can share and contribute to. Chris Petit might be
unmuted.
Sort of an ETA about that. I put up a Google spreadsheet that's just really cursory to start. We just have to make it a little more presentable and start sharing it with people.
That should be up by tomorrow.
Okay, great. So you'll just want to look at mutualaidnetwork.org, and you'll see here's and will it just be off of the front page, do you think, Chris?
Yeah, well, we're doing some reconfiguring of the front page to make things a little bit more accessible.
Okay, so it should be very visible soon. And then to a little bit of shaping, but there'll be a lot of sociocracy workshops to just really plunge in depth into that. We'll have a few concurrent things, but we'll really try to make it so people can get to all of those if they want to. And then we are going to have a couple meetings for a funders circle. We are going to set up a time to be joined by some legal minds. So we're just working on working with people's schedules for the people we want to bring in with their expertise. And you are more than welcome to suggest things that you would like to see happen. And you're more than welcome to offer to provide workshops or talks or share any of your expertise if you'd like to. And we'll also have some in-depth sessions about how we collaborate with each other. I also expect to do some restorative justice or community justice focused work, because a number of our pilot sites are really focused in that area, and we really want to make sure to give it the attention that it's due. I'm taking a quick look at other questions, and then I'm going to suggest a way forward to dive into the software questions more deeply, and then we'll give you an overview of the next few web summits kinds of things that are coming up. So Laura Garrett has asked if Weezer's accounting capabilities will be able to keep track of all the various types of transactions, and I'm just going to say yes as the short answer. It's already built to do that. And Sybille, if you have anything else you want to share other than just the yes, that your accounting capabilities are capable of that, that'd be great if there is anything else. Chinyere asked if there'd be online trainings for the use of Weezer, and we are planning to get more connected. Weezer is programmed in Odoo, so to answer the question, so Weezer is a brand, I would say, or it's the name of a particular platform that's using Odoo, which is similar to like Drupal. So Odoo is like the language, or the Odoo is the, what's the word for it?
Odoo is a framework.
Odoo is the framework on which Weezer is built. So Weezer takes what Odoo can do and packages it together in a way that meets the goals and needs of the Weezer community, of this sort of marketplace and project management community. And again, Sybille, you just correct me if I'm wrong on anything or if anything needs elaborated on. So I think we've gotten to the questions. If anyone has a question that I've skipped, please type it in again. And oh yeah, so John just mentioned we could tape a TV show with Julia, and that's a tutorial. So we do plan to make some tutorials and share them. And we do plan, I am also interested in having some times when we just work together on a web meeting, because for me that's just really helpful to ask questions and work through things. I learn better that way than I do from watching a video. So we're going to really try to accommodate different people's learning styles, and then some of it's just going to be us playing with this ourselves on our own time. And I'm very open to suggestion about how we approach that. So then we also have a MAN Tech and Communications work group. Soon we'll be splitting it back out. We kept it together because a lot of our needs were overlapping. And Chris Petit can tell us exactly when that group meets. But I really think a next step for that group is start compiling a list of things that we know we would like to see happen in Weezer. We already have some things that we've discussed with the development team there, just some different things that we want to be made publicly available or more visible, some different views of things. So I think that it'll really just be important for us to start cataloging in detail what we know needs to happen, and then be able to identify the resources that are needed to make them happen. So Sybille just said, invite coders to the Weezer sprint. So if you send us that information, we can pass that on. And those are some of the things that we need to catalog in detail. We need coders, they need these skills, we need to connect them in these ways. We need this amount of money for these purposes, these other resources for these purposes, and see if we can start putting it into something that we can make a proposal for and invite people into, and just really start building the resource base that we need. John Waters shared some comments about no matter, and I will just share this, he wrote it to everyone. Sorry, I just lost it. No matter how much time and effort is put into developing any particular platform to meet needs identified by its developers, a comparable amount of time and effort will be or have been put in by other groups or individuals for similar reasons. The fundamental time resource barrier can't be ignored. The problem can probably be addressed, but only by decoupling to the extent practicable. And this is exactly why we're having these conversations, is we need everyone's best brains on these questions, so we do it as well as we can. And John Waters also says it's better to avoid incorporating functionality that can be provided externally by a well-supported system with an open API. Unification of networks is a futile exercise otherwise. So these are all the kinds of questions that we need to address and be thoughtful about. Sybille says, yes, except if connecting improve a lot workflow and data entry and consistency. So again, we're just going to need to parse these things out as much as we can, identify pros and cons to different approaches, and also identify what we're capable of at any given time, and just move forward in the best way we can. So one more thing to say aloud, especially for the recording and for people who don't see the chat. So Chris Petit has shared the Tech and Communications work group meetings are the second and fourth Monday of every month, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Central Time. So please join these groups if you would like to really dive into this. We would really welcome you. And then now let's just do a quick checkout. Oh, wait, before that, next week's web meeting is going to be, I'm pretty sure on pilot sites, but I don't have it in front of me. Let me grab it. I'll let Chris Petit, why don't you go ahead and check out, and then you can correct that if
Yes, so I just mentioned if you want to join the tech and communication work group, we meet via this same GoToMeeting link, so you're welcome to join. And we also have a separate mailing list for the work group, so you can contact me and I'll happily add you to that. And then the next session, I believe, is on the, won't be in person, but we'll have resources about the 4 external gears, which are about flow and process and work redesign and robust budgeting and those sorts of kind of project management tools that we're working on incorporating and developing. And then I think the following one the following week will be in person about pilot sites. And we'll be hearing from a couple of different pilot sites.
Wonderful, thank you. And just so you guys are aware, you can find almost everything we're talking about from mutualaidnetwork.org. So you can go on and see what the schedule is for the Web Summit soon, and you can see some video and some other resources, and you can sign up on our mailing list, and this will give you an opportunity to sign up to be notified about work groups. You can also join the main man, and that'll ask you to pay member dues and sign on to supporting the core principles. So we would welcome you to do that. All right, Barry, check out.
This is Barry. Thank you all so much. Sybille, thank you for your presentation, Stephanie, and everyone else. Bye.
Thank you. Bruce?
Same. It brought Weezer to life in ways that formerly it had been a little more abstract. So thank you to the presenters.
Thank you. And then the phone, I can't unmute you again one by one, so in order to do that, I have to generate all of this echo. So if you would like to type in your chat, okay, a number of you did. So, so first of all, John Quinlan says, great meeting, please do come to our next IT communications work group, and he's extending thanks to avoid the echo. John Waters says, indeed, localizing, decentralizing groups, networks are well supported by groupware in a broad sense solutions, but each development community has limited resources and should avoid unnecessary duplication or fragmentation. And that is what we're hoping to take a wise approach to, so thank you. Hassan says, thank you. They will be spending time reviewing the site as there is a learning curve. And yes, and we will also try to reduce that learning curve as we adapt our iteration of the site. We'll try to make it more intuitive for people jumping on. And the way I see that happening actually is we'll probably strip out some functionality to start or make it not visible to everybody so it's clearer where to go and what to do when you're just getting going. And then we'll try to provide a lot of resources for people, but we won't have capacity to do that before August. So that's something we hope to come out of the Man Up Summit having done. But thank you, and I appreciate your willingness to play around in it. The more we play around in it now, the more we'll really understand what would be beneficial, what changes would be beneficial to make. So I would encourage you to please do that. And Sybille, would you like to be the last checkout?
Thank you. It was very pleasant to speak with all of you, even with thousands of kilometers. It's very nice. I also can make a special invitation if some of you want to see the draft of the mock-up of that what is coming. Please email me and we can organize something. That could be good to have some feedback, even if I'm a bit shy because it's not finished. And yes, we'll do all what we want to make the use of Wezer and all the functionality of man served to so all people, other people can use it, because what I understand it's we are really on the edge of something. And even if it's software, we think it's used and everything is used, but all together, because you were talking about other groups, they have so much difficulties Even some don't want to use Wezer because they think it will put too much transparency. So it's we are learning while we are working. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Again, it was a very good meeting.
Thank
And
you.
thank you all.
And Laura says, good hearing how global this effort is. I agree. And Scott Murto, I'm all good. Great call, everyone. Thanks. And you, Matthew, check out.
I just wanted to throw in one more question in there. If the main man is using Weezer and other mans, is that the plural of man, are using Weezer, then there is the question of are they using the same instance or a different instance, and would they be compatible or not compatible?
And that is one of the questions we need to answer in our tech work groups. Yes, and it has come up, and it's something that we really need guidance on. So we will be looking to really engage you, Matthew, and you, John Waters, and everyone who's on this call to really help us figure these things out. We're a community working this out together, and we're just going to stumble through it. And I really thank you all for being willing to do that with us. And I think we're going to come out of this with some very exciting stuff on the ground. So that's what it's about. It's not about the software. It's about what the software enables us to do in real life, in the real world. And I think it's going to contribute to really powerful changes. So thank you. I'm really happy that you jumped in to create Weezer software, and I'm really happy that you all have jumped in to help figure out how it connects with everything that we want to do. So thank you, and we will talk with you soon. Please check in next Wednesday. Actually, Chris, can you let people know how they learn how to engage next week, how we get this out to people?
We'll send an email out to the listserv, the MailChimp listserv. So if you're not on that, please sign up. And then when additional resources are posted, we'll let people know via that.
Okay. Thank you very much. So we will talk with you soon. Feel free to join work groups. And I did type in the chat again. The mutualaidnetwork.org is where you can find all the places to sign up on the mailing list and find information about what's coming up. So check that out. And also, please go to the Indiegogo campaign and contribute some money. We're going to be bringing people here to teach us a lot, and we're going to pay for the flights of the people coming from abroad, and so we really need the support. So please check this out, donate, and share it with your networks, and think about coming to Madison in August. It's a lovely place, and we'll be looking for homestays for people so we can really try to keep your expenses low and really support each other to get there. We really want you there. So if money is a barrier, let's talk about it, and we'll see what we can do, whether it's fundraising or helping minimize expenses. But we don't ever want money to be a barrier to good work again, and that's why we're doing this. So let us help you figure it out if you'd like to come. Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.